Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Truth from the Booth. I am your host, Chris Figueroa, aka DJ Prophet. This is episode 11 on Truth from the Booth. So thank you so much to all of you who have subscribed, who have commented, who have watched the interviews and the shorts on our YouTube page. We are super grateful for all of your subscriptions and comments and views. So thank you so much. Today we have an amazing show. This is 30 plus years in the making. I have one of the original influences on my career here with me today. He is out of San Diego, California, now residing in Long Beach. He is none other than the legendary DJ Mike Soul. Mike, welcome to Truth in the Booth.
All right. Well, I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you, Chris. It's been a while. It's like you said, let's see, it's been about a good 30 years, man. Yeah, since we met through music. You and I share one person in common. That's my younger brother. He was your was it middle school, high school friend. And then you guys were hanging out past high school, and that's what kind of led us to music,
Yeah, for sure. I was living actually with your pops and your brother at one point while I was in between opportunities, let's say, in between residencies at one point during my young Jedi, young Padawan struggles in life. And
Yeah.
yes, we go back like Similac.
Yeah.
I'll take it even further. You being already an established San Diego DJ at that time, I had just started to kind of dabble into that hip hop world as a aspiring MC and selector. I'll call it that at first because I had no idea what I was doing with the records that I was starting to collect. But through inspiration and mentorship through you, I definitely picked up the trade. You had a lot of accounts, I believe. I remember with some promo action out
Yeah.
of some of the record labels, and we would go out and hit the streets and poster up light poles and hand out flyers and carry your records to San Diego State dorm parties or house parties. I remember vividly going to see you in San Diego a bunch and traveling around with you and helping you promote and kind of grinding my teeth in the streets per se as like a young aspiring DJ, seeing someone and inspired by someone who was doing the things that I had dreamed of, along with being at KCR, the San Diego State radio station, which was another dream of mine, obviously, to be on the radio. Before I even decided to be a mixer or DJ, I wanted to be an actual disc jock host. So seeing you do that was incredibly inspiring. And I just wanted to give you your flowers, obviously, because I wouldn't be here without your influence and your inspiration. And I just wanted to let you know that, man, from the heart. I mean, shoot, we go back 30 years, but you were the man who hooked up my wedding venue. Okay. So, like, I've had two more kids since then. I'm still with my wife, Evelisa. If you known, I think you knew her before you knew me.
Yep.
Pause for
She
the
was a
year, no shit. Just kidding.
freshman in high school when I met your wife. Yeah.
Yep. So, but man, we go back, but I want to go back before our actual interaction and our relationship started. I want to go back to young Mike Soul. If you had a different DJ name or if that was your first one, I want to get back to the origin story from you. Who inspired you? What made you start collecting records? How did you get turntables? And what was your mindset and state of mind in the very beginning?
Shoot, I was born in Santa Ana, and our family moved to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and that was during the early 80s. And it's funny, of all places that where hip hop hits you, I was whatever, 10, 11, 12 years old out in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and just watching MTV like all these, kids. It's their source of music, videos, along with the radio. And MTV Raps just happened to come on, one day, and I just thought sometimes things just come before us and we're just attracted to it. And so I just fell in love with the rap, but the sound, the swagger, just the street style and of everything. And then I started buying music. And so I started buying cassette tapes. That was what was in back then. And the three main ones were LL Cool J, Houdini, and Run DMC. And so, from there, yeah, I moved to California and lived in Oceanside. And so when I was about 16, couldn't afford turntables, you know, things are $100.
I'll silence
I
that
was,
earlier.
turntables like $1,500 each,
Yeah.
you know, s- you know, I'm still in high school. I'm like, I can't really afford those right now. But I started buying wax. I started buying vinyl head, and still watching the TV and the radio and talking to friends and seeing what's out. And you just go by it was a store off of what used to be called Hill Street, and
I
that's on
remember
Oceanside. And there was a
PCH spot.
place. It was a place called the Cotton Patch, and the Cotton Patch was like military marine like clothes. And then next door to it, which I forgot the name of the actual store, but that's where they had you know music. And so a lot of the military, the dudes were from back east, so it catered to military who travel. So they would get a lot of good hip hop in there, and that's kind of how I started buying my vinyl. And then graduated high school, went to San Diego State, and in my sophomore year, my ex roommate said, "Hey, man, I just started this hip hop radio show at KCR. It's called. I think you'd fit in because I had just bought my turntables in my freshman year of college, and how I got those was I got my financial aid checks. You know,
Shit,
he used a portion of that to buy my turntables. So
that's
he
tight.
knew I had a love. I knew I had a love for hip hop. And I listened to all genres of music, but that was my kind of like my first diehard, love. And then that's when the college radio thing began. I was there for 7 years.
Yeah, I remember being in there and watching you host the show, bring the turntables with Stephen Flex. What's up with Stephen Flex? Is he? I saw his name on a list the other day. Uh,
I mean, I haven't
like there's
really,
Richie OGs, and you were on there. Stephen Flex was on there, and that's when everything started to like come back around. I was like, what is up with
yeah.
this guy?
Yeah, Stephen Flex was a underrated DJ from San Diego. Really humble, real shy. But when he went on those tables, that dude was just extra nice. Like he was,
Beast mode.
yep. And so the name of his group was LPSD. And I think to this day, there has been no other hip hop group to come out of San Diego that has made noise. So shout out to King D, the rest of the LPSD, fam. But Steven, you know, I'd say out of the 7 years I was there at KCR, that's San Diego State, I'd say about my fifth year is when I hooked up with Steven. I said, Steven, why don't you come in, man? And then, we'll kind of like, you take an hour, I'll take an hour. I just kind of wanted to expand it. And then I brought in Kavar. Kavar was a real, like a MC who was really, had the gift of gab, was really good at talking. And so I had two guys kind of like, one was good at talking, the other one didn't like to talk but was good on the tables, and I kind of just floated back and forth. And we did that for a couple years, and we had a good time.
A great time. I was there at the end, a tail end of it when Kavar and Stephen Flex was there, and you had the beat nuts come through. I don't know how you had the beat nuts come through and freestyle. I think you had a few. It started becoming like a Friday Night Flavors or a Wake Up Show type of vibe during the time that I was there, and which was like mind blowing for me.
Yeah.
How did that kind of evolve into that? Did you link up with the shows or promoters? How did that happen?
So hip hop has been like an infant, and it's just grown into something, and then kind of just it's now a hybrid, and the same with DJing. DJing is kind of started in the urban setting, and then it too just kind of spread, and it's little bits of everything. So there used to be like a street promotion team, and they would get a lot of guys that would come in hip hop wise, an artist that would come through, and they would take them on retail runs. Like, hey, we're gonna go here, this music store here, this clothing store here, and I was the only one in town that did college radio. So what set our station is I didn't play commercial. We just played good, what's considered kind of underground hip hop. And then all of it was East Coast based, but it was just the difference of styles. And so these promoters would just be like, "Hey, Mike, man, I have so and so in town this weekend. Can they come through?" Do a little interview, whatever. And it would be a lot of the artists that could not get the time on mainstream radio, because they didn't have music that was being played. So it doesn't really make sense for them.
Yeah, and
So it was a
obviously
really like
this
an
is
independent rap.
pre-internet, so there wasn't everyone had their
Yeah.
own station. So there's a limited amounts of shows that you can go and get your music played.
Yeah. So when I started, was your AM FM dial. On the AM was, I think it was like 1620 AM if I remember. And then it went into internet, and so like I think we expanded our listeners from like 15 to 30 listeners. We didn't have a whole lot of listeners, but
But they were
uh
loyal.
there and it was college radio. Like it was just it's like today, everybody's distracted by a lot of things. You can watch this now and watch that. But I did my thing for 7 years. The My love for music never swayed. It just kind of shifted to different genres. But I'm a music guy. I'm a music connoisseur.
Yeah, and I see you're still out there shopping. I checked out your new Instagram page, which is totally vinyl dedicated, which I love. Obviously you see some of my
Yeah.
collection back here. Probably a couple of your records up there as well. But talk to me about keeping that going, because I want to just kind of jump from there to your DJ career now, which is totally vinyl based. We spoke a little bit off air about you not switching to Serato and sticking to the vinyl. Now it is actually vinyl is coming around. It's always been on the underground, but kind of it's coming around again with some of these listening bars and that have turntables and lo-fi hi-fi sound systems, rotary mixers, and it's kind of become like a come back around, and good money's being paid for dope vinyl DJs. Talk to me about keeping that going and some of the differences now, because obviously the price has gone up on a lot of these records.
Yeah.
But did that is that something that you've been doing since our era of the late 90s, or did you kind of jump back into it recently? How did that come about?
Well, I mean, I started DJing. Like, who influenced me to DJ? Well, it was two radio outlets, and that was the Baker Boys from LA, and
Yep. Shout out.
Funkmaster Flex, who was syndicated on Power 106.
Yep.
And then K Day, and in Oceanside we had that we could get the LA signal from K Day, the AM, and it was very faint. But hey, I'd go in the backyard and listen for an hour.
Yeah.
And then you had Suede Tech that came in, with like I said, I started buying vinyl early when I was 15, 16 years old, and I just kept buying. And it wasn't always hip hop, but mainly it was. And then I went from kind of like a college underground radio DJ to a club DJ. And this is when hip hop started evolving, like the P. Diddy, the Biggie started coming in, and it was more club orientated. So it was becoming more mainstream. So that's when I made the shift, and I started playing in downtown San Diego, sometimes in Tijuana, some of the clubs there. And I did that for about 4 or 5 years, and I was promoting at the same time. And no one would hire me because I was young. They didn't know my name. So I said, you know what? I need to promote the clubs. And I had 6 other dudes to help me. And we were just 7 young guys just going out 3, 4 times a week, talking to people, gather them up for a club event, and I would be the opening DJ, and we would get someone more experienced. So I did that, and then uh, I moved to LA. I worked at Capitol Records. I've always been fascinated with like the business aspect, the marketing of music, and so I was there for about a year, and I learned some techniques and just some ideas of how to market. you know? And then Napster, this is kind of like the boom of the internet. Napster took out the radio stations because why am I going to sign with you when my music's for free on the internet? So this is when a lot of things were shifting. You know, we went from whatever 200 record labels to now it's probably three. And I started collecting. And that's when Serato kind of came in. And I adjusted. I adjusted for a little while, you know, and my love for DJing and music continued through Serato for 2 or 3 years. I say so early, I would say, I don't know, 2002, 2003, around there. I just, you know, I don't know. It just didn't feel the same to me. And then the rates, a lot of new era DJs started coming in that didn't know what they're doing, and they would undercut the other DJs. And so the venues would hire the cheap guys. And so it trained the audience not to really know the difference between a really good DJ and just a person playing music. So that was the next trend was, hey, you know, DJs with followings, we don't care how they sound. So the quality of the music style didn't really care no more. We just need people buying here popping bottles. Who's going to do that for us? So, you know, so how do you compete with that? And then I lost interest. I said, I'm not like being with someone and you just, hey man, I just don't love that person. I don't know how to explain it. It's not like I have love for someone else. It's not there. It fell flat for me.
Yeah.
And so, Chris, I'd say about 15, 20 years, I just didn't DJ, not in public. I've been out the public eye for about 15, 20 years, like 20 years. And I still collected, I still played a little bit in the house, you know, played around and stuff. But like you said, when you hit the nail on the head, when you said these hi-fi bars started coming out, with the hipsters buying the vinyl the last couple years, and you see this resurgence of like reprints. Like I don't buy reprints because the quality is different. Just doesn't. It's like, come on, man. Like you look at the cover and it's like that ain't the original. That's also, like Xerox copied. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you know what I mean. And so I wouldn't say about maybe. I've been feeling it. I've been really feeling it the last 6, 7 months. But I was kind of like trying to understand what that feeling is. Like, why do I have this feeling for DJing? You know, is it because I want to relive my youth again? Like I'm again, you know, I just hit 50, trying to be young. So I let that feeling just kind of marinate for a little while to see what does it mean? What does that feeling of wanting to DJ mean? And so I just figured I said, you know what? It's the vinyl. The vinyl resurgence has also inspired me. You know what? I like to go out there. I'm not trying to do major clubs, festivals, any of that stuff that a normal DJ would want to. I want to hit the music connoisseurs too. Small boutiques, spots, little dive bars, you know, the hi-fi bars. So that's kind of like the direction I want to take. And so I'm just taking to YouTube, you know, your Instagram, creating music-based footage, and then just seeing where it takes me. You know what I mean? So I've been learning a lot. I've just been, you know, just because I haven't looked at DJs the same. Before it
Yeah.
was like I'm a fan or fan of music looking at you. So now I'm like, hey, well, we're doing the same thing, and it's a little more kind of not competitive, but we have that competitive nature. Well, how do I compete with all you guys, and how do I get gigs? And it sparked a lot of old memories from 20, 30 years ago. I'm like, dude, you know, this BS, I want to deal with this. And
Yeah.
then, like, you know, so it's a give and take. And if you really have a love for something, you're going to deal with, you know, the little obstacles and the little issues.
Yeah, yeah, I think that, the game has even though the game has gone to technology, the thing about us is we want to continue to play the music because that feeds our soul, right?
Yeah.
And that itch you're having is just natural to who you are musically, and with the hi-fi bars opening, it's opportunity, but it's like, I wanna take it back to what you said about, you know, the bottle service and not people not caring. That pushed me out too, but the small bars, you're in the right lane. Small bars where
Yeah.
people actually care, where the music matters is has always been like something for me that I've always found a way to get out what I want to do. And it's just natural for us to want to be able to express ourselves musically. And the smaller bars is where it's at, man. Let me tell you, because you're really making an impact on people. People actually care there. They're not there for clout or the scene or to necessarily be somewhere other than for themselves. And I think that with the resurgence of these bars, the lane and the possibilities are wide open. So I'm loving to see you do that because there's a bar right across the street in Hollywood across from Avalon that's just a small little sneaky little bar that's strictly vinyl, and a lot of the OGs are just sneaking in there playing sets. And there's like 50 people going off like it's 2003, and I love to see that because that was when it was most fun. Like I think the other thing about collecting things, we're still collecting vinyl, so it's like more valuable to us. Like people don't have collections anymore. Everything's in the cloud. And I think that kids have learned to DJ so fast now. They don't know the history. They don't know, they haven't done their homework. They got all the music they can possibly have, more than they can handle. So they don't value the art as much as guys that they're cut from the vinyl cloth. But, at 50, hip hop is the only thing that ages out, and DJing, you only get better because your wisdom and musical knowledge grows and you were there for so many eras. You know what peak time for each era is and what records affect people in deeper ways than just what's ever hot in the streets at this moment. So your value has actually gone up in the years of experience and knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, a lot has to do too with maturity.
Yeah.
Maturity and experience will add the value. So what I mean by that is that as a man gets older, he becomes naturally more confident. He knows what he doesn't want to do, what he does want to do. He's kind of found himself. So when I look back at the young little Mike Soul that thought he knew it all and he was I'm like, I can be like Funk Master Flex. You know, you start to say, you know what? Okay, I see what got him there, and all the BS and little things and people you got to deal with, the network and all that, the marketing, just in order to have your peace of mind to play. And we all want to be appreciated. So playing rock in a crowd, compliments are cool, but it's just the energy, like energy addicted. Playing this song, how can I play it differently? Can I play maybe a new song? And that is the art. The art is playing the music at certain times and the way you play it. How fast is it? I can get 10 records and have so and so DJ and another guy and another guy. It'll feel a little different depending on how they play it. And so the newer generation, they like to play at 100 miles an hour from opening to close. When was the last time you had sex and went an hour straight, 100 miles an When was the last time you saw a movie that would just bang, 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 shoot 'em up, bang, bang, shoot 'em up, all for an hour? N that is th that is the connection to feelings and a plateau you come up for drama, you come back down. I was, having a conversation with the DJ when I was in Colombia, and one of the things he was saying, like, "Yeah, I like to hype up the crowd and da da da." And I said, "Look, don't forget to bring the energy down." And he looked at me like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "That is a DJ. That's the true art. You can bring the crowd down. And then you can, at any given moment, when you want, you can bring them back up. That's what's going to set a good DJ from the other, because anyone can play 100 miles an hour. In the crowd, after a while, you'll be like, okay,
Exhausted.
okay, you know, and play that R&B song, play something slow, let people chill, let people relax. Because when you hit that banger, now the emotions, the roller coaster ride is going to come. Oh my gosh, this is the best DJ ever. You just play with your emotions is about it.
I love that you said that right here, right now, because that is the foundation of the one thing that I definitely know I learned from you from the very jump was what you just said right there. And I've said that almost word for word in different when people ask me, I swear, I've compared DJing to sex and entertainment. It's like you got to foreplay. Shout out to
Yeah,
foreplay. You got to
that's
foreplay.
right.
You got to get them going. You got to let them down, and then you got to call them back later just to complete the cycle. And I love that you mentioned that. And that is the core, I think, of who you are as a DJ and what I learned from you early on. I'm so grateful for that, man. And that was I couldn't have written any answer better than that, man. That was straight up gem right there. I love that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know how to express it. They don't know how to explain it, and that's okay because that's what makes every person different. It makes every musician different. Makes every DJ different. DJing has kind of morphed. It used to be like standard techniques, your mixer, and then now it's become, like you said, it's the what do you call them? The rotary, right?
Rotary, yeah.
And then they have your techniques, but then they're not DJs, they're called selectors. So it's like, okay, well, what's the selector? It's pretty much just the guy just in your bedroom just playing music.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's just records for you.
yeah, there's no,
Someone who came over to listen to your collection.
yeah, yeah, pretty much. Hey man, listen to this. Hey man, listen to this. That's pretty good. Oh, I like that. So it makes it more personal, I suppose. Makes it a little different. But the element of up and down and mixing or even a little scratch is out. It's just more of like a radio station. And I've noticed that these venues, these hi-fi, they're kind of taking a radio approach. So without saying any names, there's some venues that say, hey, look, here's our collection of vinyl. You only can use our vinyl.
Yeah, I've seen that. I think, is it somebody in LA, another DJ has a bar that
Yeah,
does
that's it. Huh? So
is
to
that
me, I'm
Alchemist?
like,
Alchemist bar?
well, I don't want to, it's not that one, but there's another one. I don't want to say anything. Anyway, and every business is different. Just because you're a music fan doesn't mean you have to be true to DJ. You can do whatever you want. Anyone can do whatever you want. It's your money. But for me, if you're hip hop, if you know about hip hop and hip hop based, if you're gonna hire me to DJ, don't give me a list of what you want to be played because otherwise you don't need me. Then I can just put a scarecrow right here, and then some. You play some off your iPod. So yeah. So, but and it's
Well,
the
that became the standard though. Like a lot of the guys that I mean, that's what the game became was these managers micromanaging DJs and
yeah.
getting and taking, what worked here or what worked last night and applying it to every night. And it kind of gave it a redundant feeling. And that's what got me out of the competitive booking club game was because of that. Take the energy up, take the rap out, turn up. I need more, higher BPMs. Like it became like I wasn't able to fully express myself. And that was very unattractive to me. That's why I went underground and always had my own little parties going and then would
Yeah.
dip out and do club stuff just to taste and see what's going on out in the streets and stay a little bit relevant to in the current market as well. But it is very unattractive, and almost offensive, and it's hard to deal with that because everyone in this era now is in an instantly gratified culture and programming to where they want it now. They don't want me to take them. They don't want us to take them on a ride anywhere. They just want to zap to the point, the destination.
Well, there's we live in a capitalist country, so corporate greed is out the roof. So a venue, they're just trying, hey man, we need bottle sales, we need liquor sales. Like that's their thing, right? And so as a DJ, that's kind of half of what are the job. The other half is to please the people, give people make them have a good time and stay there. So with them staying there, they'll probably drink, which will make the venue money. So that's the kind of fine line of I could be creative and be myself and, you know, play quality music, but if people aren't sticking around and drinking, then the problem's the DJ. So, and then just because it works in one neighborhood, your style, doesn't mean another neighborhood's gonna embrace it. So we're kind of little marketing guys at the same time with psychology. Like, hey, look, I have a black African American crowd here. I got to shift. I got to play a different style. You know, Mexican Latino, same thing. You know, 18 and up, maybe a family party, or I don't know, or
Right,
depending on what
right.
you do. You kind of have to adapt and go that route.
Well, I think the good ones all do, and I think a lot of the problem now in today's era is that they never get that multicultural, multi-generational experience. They only know the one thing and they go out and they blast it off everywhere they go. And it fails a lot, because the key to quality DJing is adjusting to the room, reading the room. And I think that a lot of people get in rooms too fast now, or they're too much in a hurry to get in rooms that they haven't studied, and it just kind of throws off the vibe. And what else? And people, and the new gen is cutting out the room completely and staging the room with these boiler room sets that are completely staged, and you got your extras all behind you, and every mix is like, oh, and you're lip singing the songs in your video. It's become a complete movie that is being produced now instead of a DJ set.
Well, yeah, it's how do you bring so the social media, that's the era we live in, right? And so it's like, hey, if I can't bring you here, make money off you per se, to attend in person, then I'm gonna stage it and hopefully take you here,
Yeah.
you know, and maybe you'll follow us and our content, and maybe we'll visit your city with something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
well, I think what sparked that was probably during the pandemic with the Twitch,
Yeah.
right? Because we couldn't go anywhere. A lot of people had green screens and they had the background, and you had your close friends as people started sneaking in their friends, and that's how that kind of vibe kind of was started, I think. And I wanted to ask you about that. Well, have you watched Twitch? Have you been involved anything? Checked it out and thought about
I've
streaming
heard
a
it. I don't really listen to DJs.
Yeah.
You know, that's like maybe a movie director saying, "Hey, man, are you watching other directors?" I mean, to be honest, I've heard a lot of DJs. Like, I kind of know what I like, and there's certain guys like I could listen to that guy. You know, or maybe I want to try electronic or house one night, and just want a completely different vibe. But as far as like genres that I play, it's very rare where I'm like, "Oh, I want to go see them. I want to hear them." So with your question with Twitch, I've heard of it, but I've never logged on and never took part of it. What I'm trying to do is little live 1 hour sets and posting them on YouTube. And I want to see how that goes. Cause there's some mixes on there. Like, I'm like, what? This is
I
getting
know.
300,000, you know?
How could you can't even call them mixes? There's some thrashes on there.
Yeah. But hey, there's a whole world out there, you know,
But
and
I mean, it's a infinite universe. I mean, you are literally global of all the billions of the people of the universe. And I think that's another thing that has changed the game is that, we used to be local and now the potential is infinite as far as global exposure. And that's another thing that speeds along the process. I mean, you've been out of the scene, like you said, about 15 years, but you can catch right up with one video, you know what I'm saying, and be on a world tour of vinyl sets with DJs that in different markets that are you know doing the similar thing, or uh looking to get something going, because even I'm playing at Yamava now, and they want vinyl sets for some of their stuff. So that's pretty much, I'm like, I got my records, but I ain't got 5 hours worth of a set ready to go. But their guys are, and they're willing to pay for it. And I think that, you know, that being said, with more exposure, like I really think that's going to be a huge market for you.
yeah. Yeah. I've been lucky. I've been kind of trying to network online, and I have, I'm doing Mexico City in 2 weeks.
Go.
Yeah, I got Chicago pending in November, San Diego, in December. Frisco, I got 2 bookings in San Jose and in the city of San Francisco. The hardest part is fucking LA. I can't
Yeah.
man, it's like, I live right here,
Yeah.
like, what.
Well, that I like I mentioned, I got you guys in Long Beach, some bar owners in Hollywood. I got a few extensions out there that I'm happy to reach out and see what's going on with them and how they're
Yeah,
organizing and planning and booking. I mean, like you said, it's all about the network, who you know, and you
yeah,
have done so much for so many people over the years. All it takes is a little bit of a throwing a line out, and people
exactly,
totally active again. It's gonna be popping
yeah,
because uh,
and it goes
you
back
are
to oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say that you are, one of the OG founders of the San Diego scene. I mean,
Yeah,
from King Sound Records, Foreplay Entertainment, the scene wouldn't be what it is today without your early influence. I mean, C's, Rags, Demon, Scooter, all these guys are still, still pretty active.
there they are.
And those are your and those are the guys that put the scene on the map, and you're one of them. So I don't see anything but shit blowing up for you real quick as soon as we start put the pedal to the metal,
Well, it's like you said, that
put the needle
saying
to the
is
record.
right. It's not what you know, it's who you know,
Yeah,
so
exactly. And who
that
likes you?
that
And who likes you? To be perfectly honest, because I know a lot of folks I don't like.
that is true.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's just a matter of going out there knocking on doors and networking, and, we land where we land.
yeah, everything works out perfect. You wouldn't be given the that push if it wasn't meant to be. Well, but let me ask you, what has been what have you been focusing on in those years that not actively DJing? Like, what have you been doing? That living in Long Beach, you working out there?
So, I kinda retired from DJing, but the years are gonna be off, but I'm gonna say, like, around, I don't know, 2004, and so right around 2002, I mentioned that I moved to LA, worked at Capitol Records, but when Napster came in, I lost my job after a year. And so I was staying with a friend out here, and I'm like, "Well, shoot, I don't got no money coming in, and, what do I do?" So I was like, "Gotta go back to San Diego." And I, lived with moms for a year to kinda, again, restructure your life and reevaluate, "What am I gonna do now?" I had this whole plan of, the career in corporate music America, and so that went down the tubes, and then your, dreams of being Funkmaster Flex went down the tubes, So you're like, "Well, shit, what am I gonna do now?" And so after living in LA, I got exposed to like big clubs that were all Latino. So when I moved back to San Diego, I started doing one-offs, just Latin. And that never really existed in San Diego. So I like doing things that no one's doing. That's just I like that. I don't want to copy no one. You could copy like little bits of stuff, but into your own way. And so I started doing one-offs. And it was just kind of a little bit of tropical music, salsa, cumbia, reggaeton. This was early reggaeton days with Daddy Yankee, and they were a hit. I did well. After a year, I lived on my own, and the name of that event was called Azúcar.
I remember
And
that. Remember those.
yeah, people thought I was what's this hip hop guy? This Mike, what's he doing? Hey man, I'm thinking about how to make some money, how to live. And so I didn't really DJ during those times. Like everything else, you get burned out, and so I took another year or 2 off, and I tried to sell these events at well-known places in San Diego, but I couldn't get a Friday or Saturday night because I was like, "Man, I'm tired of doing Wednesdays, Thursdays. It's too much work." So I went to a boat party one time, and he was an old promoter, kinda like a has-been, and he saw me passing out flyers, and he's like, "Who's this young guy, man?" And he was cool, and he invited me to a boat party. And it was like, 250 people. Had a really good time. His thing was house, but I'm like, "Hey, man, I like this." outside. I was smoking. This young guy was like, "Hey man, you want to hit?" He's smoking a joint right there. I'm like, "Hey man." I never really correlated music to the water, to ocean, how it gives you a different feel. So I went back to the drawing board and I said, "Hey, I'm gonna get that Latin music experience and connect it to water." I said, "That to me is California, water. How come
Yeah.
events since the music's not connected to water out here?" And we had the weather, we had the pretty ladies, we got the palm trees, the sand, and obviously the water. So I did 3 of them under another name for a Spanish restaurant because I was working with them at that time and they didn't want to pay me more. And so he said, "Hey, we can't pay you more for working with us. Why don't you go back to doing one-time events like you used to, right? But under the Cafe Sevilla name." That was the name of the restaurant, Cafe Sevilla. And I oversaw their marketing in 3 locations. And I started connecting dots. I'm like, dude, this is too easy for me. Like, you know what I mean? But as I started proving how much money I'm making for them, I was like, can I get a raise? No, that's not the way it works. You're supposed to just keep coming with ideas. I'm like, what's all that about, man? So I had the idea ready to go, a bow party, and I sold them on it. We broke even on the first one, and I was disappointed because we broke even, but it was packed. It was full, and the owner at the time just said, "Hey, don't worry about that because if we didn't lose money, that's great. But the PR that came out of this," he
Yeah.
goes, "everybody's talking about it." So they let me go after 3 years for whatever reason, and I changed the name from Sevilla on the Bay to Sabor on the Bay. So coming back to your question, what I've been doing, 16 years, I've been all in and creating this little company. And so we started in San Diego, 1,200 people. And then I've been 7 years in San Francisco, 7 years in LA, and then had a brief stint, 2 years in Chicago. So I've been selling this concept, and indirectly kind of in my head as a DJ frame of mind, how am I going to program the night? Not me directly, but with DJs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like an octopus. Okay, this guy's going to play this style. This is going to play this. And that's what DJs, how my brain works. And so, okay, this floor will do this and this and that. And that's the way it's worked, and it's done really well till the pandemic. The pandemic's kind of like has changed so many things. And I really think people don't talk about this enough, but entertainment, especially the nightlife, has been really affected since the pandemic. And going back to our discussion about nightclubs, the nightclub blueprint, that's done. That doesn't exist anymore because the younger generation, they don't really dance, they don't really drink, they don't like to go out. So now it's coming back to the boutique. So the hi-fi concept's kind of cool. And I'm sure there's going to be something else, that comes out of it. I know you've seen it, but there's these day parties and
I
it's
love it. Turning it up.
the coffee,
Turning it up.
the coffee section, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
where did this come from? And it's kind of like, I don't trying to get political, but it's kind of like Trump and Hillary Clinton coming in and Trump winning took me a couple years to understand, like, what I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, that's
So
shock.
you know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
had to really realize, like, I thought I had a good grip of people and marketing psychology. And so with this coffee thing, I look and I've been to a couple of them because I'm like intrigued. I'm like, how the hell we go from nightclubs, you know, to coffee on a Sunday? And so I'll just touch a little bit on it, but I can go on. But you have the younger mentality, the younger generation mentality, which is everyone works now, men and women. There's a sense of like health and can't drink too much because I don't want to be hungover the next day. Then you have a lot of single women. They're more single now than ever. It's the United States, right? And so if you look at the videos and you go to these, it's like 3-4 ratio to one guy. It's an abundance of females. So you ask yourself, why is that? That never existed in the nightclub scene. It was never predominantly females, right? So then you have the hookup culture has kind of men don't really approach women. So like there's the awkwardness, there's the low self-esteem with men. They don't know how or what. They just know their body craves a woman. That's all they need, but they don't know how to do it. And so the women, emotional as they are, they need to dance. They need something. Independent little young girls, well, Sunday I'm off. I
Yeah.
could do during it. And some of them have kids. I could still come back at 7 p.m. and be with my family or my kid or whatever. So that's kind of like what it's morphed. Like it's taken me about a year to really analyze this, and but it's an interesting concept.
Yeah, but you're right on. You are right on. The younger generation has become more health conscious. Alcohol is being realized as poisonous to our systems. I think
Yeah.
coming out of the pandemic, some people had a shift and some people stayed. And I think the shift coming out of it was more health conscious, more aware of what you're consuming, not only with your mouth, but your mind and your eyes and your ears. And people are looking for a different experience than a sloppy drunk mistakes that you make, that you regret, that don't want to make, the next generation doesn't want to make those mistakes, and is finding a new way to find stimulation during the day at a coffee shop. Or there's also, for the older generation, which I was going to mention, there, 30 and up parties. There's one traveling around called In Bed by 10, which I want to be down with. You know what I'm saying? It goes 6 to 10
So
and you're out. You know what I'm saying? And it's for 30 and up. And those are the people
it's
that
good
actually
marketing.
remember how
Good
to
name.
how to be. And I think that what you said about people being not interactive, guys lost how to talk to girls because of these screens. Everyone's a swipe or a text. So no one's had to actually go out and hunt for a live action. So it's kind of even when I coach youth sports, and even their communication skills and 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 just looking at people in the eye, or just proper etiquette of how to greet someone, has been washed through technology of a what's up or a nod or a text. So evolving with the game, but applying some of the old tactics, I think, is the middle ground for success for people that are from our generation, right? Being able to use those promotional tactics and the experience that we have and apply them to the new era of kids, because we know how to read the room, and adjust accordingly. And if people want to party during the day, we'll have a bar for them. And people want to be hyped up on coffee and and mocktails. We got that too. And I
But
think finally,
the funny thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, more than half of these people, majority, are not even drinking coffee. I think they're
no,
still drinking alcohol.
yeah, yeah,
So it's the coffee just represents during the day. It's
right.
kind of
It's
like
yeah,
independence.
it's just a
It's
marketing
both.
ploy to bring people outside in the daylight.
Yep. Yeah. So I'm like, all right. I, okay. I think I understand what's going on. One thing I've noticed, I don't know if you have, Chris, but I'm very like I like to check out the room, and
Yeah, me too.
so as a DJ, man, you got to read the room. You got
Yeah.
to. Most DJs are just heading down. They're in their own little world. And now, man, you're not DJing yourself.
Stare at the screen. Look at the next song to play.
Yeah. So one thing I've noticed lately with the younger generation, I don't know if you've caught this. Guys are dancing with other guys.
Yeah.
Not to say that,
And
not
cyclists.
to say that, so it's like, okay, well, it's not, they're not gay guys, right? They're straight guys just dancing with other buddies. That never happened 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. I would never look at my buddy and be like, hey, man, you want to get a drink and maybe get on the dance floor a little bit? Or maybe he's dancing by himself grooving. I just kind of creep up on him. Yo, what's up? Like, how does that come about? So again, it's the awkwardness of male and female. We kind of have a natural instinct to want to enjoy the dance or something. But because the guy doesn't know how to talk to the girl, or maybe the girl just, I don't want to deal with them. We're totally separate. And you start to see we're having separate little parties within the space. And it comes to the American culture and the independence of hey, it's good. It's better to be independent and alone.
Yeah, well,
And
I think a
you
lot of
see
it
it. I went to see it.
yeah, I think part of it is main character energy, first of all. Everyone's got a screen on themselves. Second of
Yeah,
it second part of it is I think that, rejection has become, exposed, right? So, if I get rejected from a girl not giving me her number, not time of day, that's fine, but next thing you know, you're on camera getting rejected, or you're approaching someone and getting exposed for that, I think is a deterrent from people actually being um, being outspoken and dancing with other people, or even asking people to dance,
yeah,
because everything is exposed now. Like people, I noticed, like in people, like even in sports, right? A lot of the kids don't play defense now because they don't want to get posterized, or they don't want to be on somebody's highlight reel, so they'd rather just be off screen, pretty much. And I think that mentality is definitely involved in all the competitive nature acts, and approaching a woman is a competitive nature act, so they rather not risk the embarrassment of denial and being exposed, which is sad per se. But I think, and the music has a lot to do with it too. The job that one another job of the DJ is not only to read the room, but to put it together, put the room
mhm,
together, connect the room. I've been doing a lot of weddings lately in my grand age of independent and private parties, but that is the main goal of the DJ and the host of the MC of the event, is to make sure that those families are conjoining, those friends of friends are becoming friends with each other, and that bond, it happens through the music, which is guided by usually the DJ or the and the quality of music as well has become very, listen to what they're talking about. They're degrading each other, right? Even worse than ever. Women don't need men. They belittle them in the song. So now girls know how to have ammunition on how to shoot guys down that are not in their tax bracket per se. And it's become a war out there that the soldiers are not equipped to fight.
yeah, yeah, you know,
But to say all that is that everything comes to a head, right? Everything peaks out. And eventually we got to come back to ground zero. Eventually everything gets wiped out. There's a flood, a great catastrophe, and everything comes back to ground zero. And I think that we're almost at that point now to where it's become so disconnected that the actual trend is going to be to reconnect, right? To actually have a connection. Go back small. You said the small pubs, the small bars, the hi-fi bars, and get to a basic level of connection again, because people are tired and exhausted of always putting on a show with that main character energy. So I think we're on the right path. I think you coming into age of the realization and watching from afar, and the experience of throwing events and knowing and watching the trends and knowing what people want is definitely a huge advantage moving forward. So, eventually they get back, and the Latin's all about dancing and connection. I think that's why maybe you were drawn to that scene, because, that's the only thing that actually people dance with each other. That
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's super blazing. That's like the hottest thing in Temecula out here, is like the Latin nights. They go off. Every winery has one, at least one night of the week.
And I can, and most of these kids have heard of my cruises because I like to attach a theme. So I do like an all white theme. So I coined that a long time ago. And now you see like a whole bunch of all white parties. Not to say that I'm the original, but again, this is that monkey see, monkey do. Let me copy you because it's, that's popular. Then I have a Halloween cruise coming up in San Diego. So we have 1,200 people. The theme is Dia de los Muertos. So I like, it's the entertainment factor and uniqueness falls into play with entertainment because how many times can you just do a normal event?
No, yeah, and that's, I've talked about this a lot. Is people need extra stimulation now? It's got to be something. So that's why you see a lot of these curated parties, they call them. Dia de los Muertos. They got 2000s. They got 90s. They got red light, stoplight parties, camouflage parties. Like people want to have an experience rather than just another night out. It's got to be like a theme, planned on, Eventbrite. Got my outfit right. Like it's got to be something to overstimulate them, something they got to remember. club I play out in downtown LA, level 8, Sinners y Santos. They got a fucking wrestling ring over the bar that at 11:30 and midnight they have a fucking lucha mat. They turn
Wow.
down my music, turn down the DJ music, and put on a pre-played mix list, and they have a freaking lucha match above the bar.
And it's live, like live people?
Live, real people. They got go-go dancers and male and female wrestlers in there, like real pro
Jeez.
wrestlers throwing down. It's like my dream. It's like my dream club, but
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. The overstimulation is real. Like people got to have something to
Yeah.
record and go viral opportunity.
Bingo.
Yeah,
Because the DJ just standing there going like this is not going to cut it.
right. And the DJ has fallen off as far as like we're in too much demand and not enough skilled DJs to handle the demand. So the guys with the cheaper prices or just beginning are out there, and people are not just stimulated by that. They need this show to take away from how bad or how not good this is to distract me with this over here. To find a good balance is the key.
Balance is important. Yeah.
Yeah, balance with a great DJ and great entertainment, right?
Yeah. Have you heard of these two female producer DJs out of Spain? I don't know if I get their name right. Mestiza Music or Mestiza something.
No.
So this is what I'm saying is that DJing has kind of morphed and evolved and taken on different things. So basically they're two females, attractive, Spanish, and they produce music. And so their thing is they have like Spanish vocals, kind of a gypsy, kind of a Spanish thing. And then the rhythm is a little Latin, like little, kind of like a little Louis Vega-ish, like a
Okay.
deep house kind of little congas. And what they do is they dress up really stylish, like two flamenco dancers, like modern, and they start dancing while they're DJing, and everybody's out, "Woo!" Getting their cameras out, and they're just, and I'm just like, part of me is like, dang, that's where we're at.
Well,
But
Steve Aoki throws cakes. He throws these big cakes, right? While his mix plays. We got CO2 blasters. We got people with masks on. Like
yeah,
it's a big circus. It is a big, big circus act.
but hey, hats off to them. It's not, it's hard to find female DJs. There not many of them. And so to be on a grand stage, be producers too, they're just elevating that entertainment element.
Yeah.
Hats off to them, but it's interesting to see it kind of morph.
Yeah,
It's like,
from
okay,
going from record crates that we collected from recycle bins to,
yeah,
$1,000 laptops on stage, putting on a whole production of light show and choreography with costumes and programming. And it's incredible the evolution in such a short amount of time. But like I said, with everything else, it gets to a point where, what the fuck? I'm gonna be DJing and swallowing fucking swords on fire. What's pulling shit
yeah,
out of
yeah.
a magic hat. I'm
It
like
always comes
right
back
out
to
of
the
my hat in
music.
the middle of my set.
It's always going to come back to the music. Eventually, it's going to come back to music because that's what it's
Eventually.
really about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and,
Or
and
hope you
we're
hope
almost
so.
we're almost at that breaking point. But yes, it has reached a crazy level of entertainment, which it is entertaining, whether you love it or hate it. Is if it gets your emotional feeling out of you, it's done its job. Whether you hate it
Yeah,
or love it, negative or positive emotion, it worked, right? It got your
yeah,
attention, man. Well, it's been crazy, but and the cream rises to the top. Though I'm seeing all the OG DJs get all the shine now that are playing all the good parties and staying relevant in the game forever. Jazzy Jeff touring more than ever. Scratch Bastard,
because
Kid Capri.
because
Kid Capri
there's not
still
a
going crazy.
there's not 100 of them no more.
No,
There's only 2, 3. So it's like you're limited, and then I don't even know if the younger generation are going out to see Jazzy Jeff or Kid Capri. I don't know. Like I haven't been.
no, it's
So,
grown. It's the grown generation. And maybe their kids, like, our generation, like I have a 21-year-old now who's coming out to me. He knows what real
ooh,
DJing is.
Uh-huh.
Azarius is 21 now.
Sheesh.
So he's coming with me. He's seeing what the scene is. He knows what a good DJ is and what a good DJ isn't.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Like everything comes to a point of back to ground zero. And I think that the OGs that, and the originators of it now have children that are coming into the scene. And that's where it's going to level out because the knowledge of quality they've been raised right now. Right. There's been a big gap of a bunch of wild animals with no supervision, a bunch of kids
true.
it's to a
Yeah,
point where they're at the age where we can meet eye to eye now. Like, my kid knows Biggie. He knows J. Rue the Damager. He knows the esoteric Wu Tang. He knows the knowledge and he hears the lyrics and puts two and two together. It's not just the beats and the vibe. It's the words and the spelling and the and acronyms and the message. So that's where I feel the quality is about to come back. I'm 46, you're 50, our kids, our generation that had kids is up on game now. So
yeah,
it's time the game can come back to some quality rather than the circus. So I'm excited about that part, seeing
yeah,
it live. But yeah,
yeah.
so man, lots going on in the DJ world. What's next for you? You got some shows coming up? What's on the platter coming up November, December?
Well, I'm still doing these quote unquote Latin boat parties, and the name of the event, that event is called Sabor on the Bay. I have a Halloween boat party in San Diego at the end of October, and then 1 week prior, I have a San Francisco event, but that's not on a boat. So I've been dealing with a lot of funny business in the Bay. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to wait around to be on a boat. I'm not going to try to compete to be on a boat when I've made you guys 2.3 million over 16 years. Like I should be first in line. I shouldn't have to compete per se. My numbers are strong. Anyway, I'm doing a land event in San Francisco. So I might be doing like a Christmas one in San Diego for my first time because this might be the tail end of my boats, my event. What's going on is that the company is now being forced to change their large boats from gas driven to electric because of the pollution, right? When there's but then there's thousands of cargo ships that comes through San Francisco,
Yeah.
San Diego, and LA. I'm like, so that's where we're headed. The politics of California.
Mhm.
They're discontinuing and kind of retiring the boat because it it costs 6-7 million to convert it to electricity, but the boat's only worth 4 or 5, and they can't sell it because who's going to want to invest 15 grand into doing this? How are you going to make money? Charging $1,000 per person?
Yeah, it's impossible.
So this is probably the last year that they're going to have that large boat. So do I want to do smaller events? It doesn't pay as much,
For sure. What
versus a
about
bigger.
block parties? What about like getting a block or a
I'm
park?
actually I'm actually looking into San Francisco. The Bay, I lived there for a couple years, and we're completely different. SoCal, NorCal. I always thought of myself as kind of hip, little on the liberal side, but after moving to the Bay, I real I'm kind of on the conservative side. The beauty of the Bay is anything goes. They love culture. They love things that are new. They don't discriminate, and they're not scared to go to an event they've never heard of.
Yeah, yeah.
We're the opposite down here. LA's kind of like, well, you have to prove yourself to me.
Now who's gonna be there? Who's gonna be there? What can I get? Yeah.
But the Bay's not like that. So there's actually programs and grants for promoters and businesses to do public events, which I've never heard of. I'm gravitating toward that. So I'm looking into maybe a small street festival in San Francisco because the aid and the help is there.
Yeah. That's a beautiful thing.
So yeah, we'll see what happens. But I don't know. I'm 50 years old. I've been doing music has been a part of my life since I was collecting it at age 14, you know, DJing, promoting, record label, Latin music, hip hop. I've made a living off of it somehow. Like I've been blessed and fortunate. 9 to 5 is not what I want to do. Never really appealed to me.
Yeah,
So, no, we'll see what
me neither.
happens
Well,
here.
Well, I mean, if you've kept it going, I'm sure it's gonna keep going. I mean, you've inspired me, like I've told you, and let everyone know that I come in contact with. You know, it is a pleasure and an honor to have you on here and hear your story, and know that you're still going strong and have created, something that is dynamic and for the culture through the music and bringing people together. And I think that's what we do best, and what DJs are meant to do is communicate and give people love through music.
Yeah.
And when you do that, it pays off. It'll never stop because everyone needs it in their life. And when you dedicate it the way you have, and inspired me to do the same, like I said, day job ain't for me. I want to live through music and put my people on and inspire and motivate people to live their best lives and be the best people that they can be. And music is the universal language that allows us, people like us, to do that. And nothing but love and respect for you, Mike. Man, I thank you. We can go on for days, and we could do part two of this. Would love to have you back anytime just to catch your vibe. And we got to get together in real life. I'm up north quite a bit. Got to come down to Temecula, check out our Latin scene down here.
No,
Let's do an event
I,
down here. I got the wineries on lock. You want to do a winery event? Let me know.
they've always been there. They're it's a popular thing, the wineries.
Yeah, and they do, and they're down for the Latin events. So let me know if you want to throw something together and make it happen. I would love to collaborate and get the band back together for old time's sake.
Yeah.
Well, man, let everybody know your socials to get at you, your YouTube, Instagram, whatever you're using to promote your music.
Yeah. So they're brand new accounts. Instagram, YouTube, and good old TikTok. They're all the same. It's Mike Soul underscore DJ. Mike Soul underscore DJ. So, I try not to spend too much time on social media. So I'm not, you know, I don't have that much time because I have the business and then my personal life. So what I'm trying to say is I just post music stuff. I don't, not so much about look at me, I'm eating a sandwich or, hey, I'm
Yeah,
over
no,
here
listen, I think,
vacationing,
yeah, no,
Cancun,
I think the trend is, I think the trend has become less is more. You know, posting stuff you care about, and people want to come check you out. They're going to come through.
Yeah,
Well,
so
cool.
if you endorse music, if you love it, hey, let's all connect through social media or whatever, whatnot in person, and let's exchange, let's share, it's embrace music together. You know what I mean? So that's what I usually am about. And music is the lifeblood for a lot of us. It's our oxygen. It helps us breathe and get to the next day.
No doubt, man. Well, thank you so much for jumping on here with me, man. Looking forward
No
to linking
problem.
up in real life outside, in the jungle out there.
Yeah,
Once again, thank you for your influence, inspiration, love, brotherhood, and family. I got mad love for you and yours, and want to give you
likewise.
your flowers on here, truthfully booth. Like everything that I embody as far as DJing and hosting and radio has all were majorly influenced by you, and I want you to know that, and got nothing but love and respect for you, brother.
Likewise, Chris. So let me ask you, I want to ask you one last
Yeah,
question
yeah,
here.
yeah.
How did you come up and what does the name mean? Prophet.
Oh, well, prophet has a couple meanings. The original story was, I started out as DJ Caution with a K, because I'm Chris with a K. And my turntables were so wobbly. I had some Geminis and a PMX Scratchmaster 16. And so when I first started doing parties with a Half Creator Records and a Case Logic CD deck and a Discman, my buddies would put caution tape around me, so that you couldn't bump the tables or breathe on the tables because my records would slip. So that was my original name.
Yeah.
After a while of those weak turntables, I ended up getting a bunch of money together and buying Techniques and a whole new system, Rain. I think it was a 56 mixer or whatever. Me and Evelise's anniversary had just was happening, and we were up at Disneyland, and we're leaving Disneyland after our anniversary date, and there's a nickel arcade on the way out, and it's called. There's a little thing in there. Remember Big, the movie Big, with Zoltar, the
Yeah.
fortune teller? Oh,
Yeah.
big fan of
Uh,
the movie. Big fan of the movie. Yeah, Tom Hanks. Yeah, big fan of the movie. I'm like, oh look, it's the fortune teller. I'm gonna go up there and do it. So I put it in. It was called Esmeralda's Prophecies was the name. It was like an old lady with the glow ball, whatever. Put the dollar in or the nickel in, whatever, and the card comes out and it flies out of the card holder thing into the street. So Evelise goes, my wife, girlfriend at the time, goes and picks up the card, and it says blah 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 something, and I'm like, that sounds like it's fit for you. That's not me. Like, you touched it. I'm like superstitious. I'm like, you touched it first. That was meant for you. I'm like,
yeah.
let me do one for me. So I put in the card, popped it, and it opens up like this. It says, one of my favorite quotes of all time. Obviously, I see it everywhere now. Every personal development book, it's in there everywhere. And it's called "From Great Oaks, Small Acorns Grow." No,
Mm.
great oaks from small acorns grow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
And it says a recent or future investment you make or have made will put you in touch with the person that is going to put you on your path to your wildest dreams of fortune and fame. Your lucky number is 3. Your number is 3. And my number in sports was 3. And I just bought all this equipment, but I didn't put it all together then. I was like, okay, that's cool. I like that quote. So we drive back to San Diego and we're eating at dinner at some spot, and I get I don't remember if it was a page or a phone call, but a promoter had found my business card at Lou's Records in Lucadia on the
Yeah.
flyer pin thing where all the parties were. And I left my business card up there just in case something like that happened, that somebody needed a DJ or whatever. So he calls me up and he's like, "Hey, I throw these parties, my DJ can't make it. I was wondering if you have equipment, we could use you to maybe if you live around the area, come through and open up, bring your equipment, and I throw a lot of parties, so I'll book you if you're dope."
Mhm.
Fuck yeah, let's go. Ended up pulling up, rocking the party. I opened up for, the guys that he had already. They came and rocked my equipment. It was all top of the line equipment. So of course, like brand new, it's dope. And that ended up being DFH in Carlsbad with Brian and Jaleel and Lamont. It was like a North County party cruise. So they had Neiman's in Carlsbad, Boris Crossing, and then we did the Belly Up on Mondays, and I just kind of, and from there that was like,
So you were
after,
still caution at this time?
well, this is the thing. So he was like, we're gonna start putting your name on the flyers, and I was very aware. I was like, I carried this card with me in the wallet. I was like, bro, I'm playing out, like, all this is happening now, and this is the card I got the day you called me. And he read it. I showed it to him. He read it. He's like, Esmeralda's prophecy. He goes, oh, well, you're fulfilling the prophecy. I guess you're the prophet. I'm like, oh shit, that's dope. And I was already like a Jeru the Damager fan. I was in the esoteric
Yeah.
pop and
Without the
rap.
prophet. Yeah.
Yeah, and it all made sense. I'm like, dude, that's it. That's my name. And he put on the flyer, and from DFH on, as soon as I started getting promoted, I was DJ Prophet.
Boom.
And to fulfill the prophecy, like, yeah, it's also an acronym, PROPHET, which is Puerto Rican on point here every time, which I made up later because I
There
could
you
show
go.
up to party blacked out and still rock. So no matter what, I was gonna be on point. So,
You
and then
got
I always told everybody what I was gonna do. I was gonna move to LA. I was gonna get on the radio. I was gonna get on TV, have my own TV show, and everything I spoke came to fruition. And I realized at an early age that words are powerful and mindset is everything. As above, so below. And the more I study and the more I tap into the universal laws of the universe of this universe that we live in, I've been able to create this life based off of music and my passion for music with my family, and I still coach sports, which I love. Everything, I only do what I love, and
yeah.
I tell people what I'm going to do, and I put in the work and get it done, and fulfill my own prophecy every day. I think we're all prophets in a way. Just some of us have the balls to claim it.
Yeah. Yeah. Do it. Do it. Yeah. Claim it.
Do it. You say it, do it, you know, and that's my whole thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, Prophet, thank you, man. Thank you for the, after 30 years, it was a long time coming.
I know, man. We ain't done here. Like I said, so much more to chat about, but we'll do that in person and on another episode. But I got kids to feed, and I can hear them rumbling around out there. They need snacks and shit, so I got to supervise. But man, it's
All
been
right.
great having you on the Truth from the Booth. I'm truly honored. Make sure you follow Mike Soul on all social media outlets. Check out his Sabor parties. Check him out. I'll play on all vinyl. I'll be sure and share some of that information on my page as well. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you to all. I think we're up to 130 subscribers now, averaging about 100 views each interview. So thank all of you beautiful people for tuning in, logging on, and supporting the movement, which is Truth in the Booth. We are truly DJ Prophet. Until next time, check us out right here, right now. Bam, bam, bam. Do it. All right, don't hang up.